Critical thinking is a useful skill to have. In the past, schools and universities seem to encourage critical thinking, whereas these days, not so much. When I was in high school, I feel I was quite lucky because I spent a few weeks during English classes studying advertising. And we learned about the various tricks and methods that advertisers use in order to market their products or services to the world. We also had to do an assignment where we had to pick a particular advert on TV, record it on a VCR, and analyze the advert by identifying all the different tricks and methods that have been used to get people to spend money. And I really enjoyed that assignment. In fact, I actually got my best ever mark for an English assignment just because I enjoyed it and I put in lots of effort into doing a good job. I didn't really realize it at the time, but now looking back on it, I see that it was encouraging students to learn critical thinking. So what I actually learned from that experience was a tiny bit of critical thinking. When I look at adverts on TV or advertising anywhere really, I should keep my eyes open and try and see what's really going on. Those adverts are trying to compete for my attention and compete for my energy or my money. It never really occurred to me until today, but I realized that when other people see advertising, they're probably only looking at the content of it, like the service level things. Whereas when I look at advertising, the content is not so important to me. Instead, I tend to look at the colors that are used, what fonts, transitions, and effects have been used, what characters or actors there are, and I think about the target audience and what message they're trying to convey. So for me, advertising is just an illusion or a trick to get people to do certain things. And a couple of years ago, I started learning about alternative ideas about money, how money actually works in the world, and all the misinformation and complexity that exists to confuse people. Basically, I became hooked and obsessed with watching videos that were critical thinking on the money systems that we have today. Ultimately, I had watched thousands of videos for a long period of time, and I'd absorbed all this information and attempted some critical thinking of my own. I came to the conclusion that all money is completely fake. It's all really just an illusion. That's not to say that money isn't important. It's actually very important in our daily lives. But money is only important because we believe it's important. It's actually just this gigantic, amazing illusion that exists. And the only reason it still exists today is because people hold on to that illusion and they keep it going. People either don't realize that money is an illusion, or they subconsciously hold on to it because they're subconsciously scared to find out what life would be like if all money just suddenly disappeared. They're scared of detaching from the system that they have embedded themselves into, which is actually made out of nothing except for the belief of everyone that it is made out of something. So at this point I started realizing that it wasn't just adverts on TV that were fake. Anything at all on TV that mentioned money was also presenting a very biased view to help keep people engaged with the system, to keep people making money and spending money. What they say on TV about money is generally not an outright lie. It's pretty much true, but it is very, very warped, so that wherever you look, you only get really one perspective or one particular view of what money is, whereas the true picture is actually very different. Eventually, over time, I started watching videos by Matt on the Quantum of Conscience channel. I really liked his videos because even though they were mostly revolving around conspiracy theories, which don't really excite me all that much, some of his videos really made me go, wow, like no way, that can't happen in reality, but these things were actually happening. It really made me start to question other things that we have been told. Matt helped me to start thinking critically about not just advertising and money, but he also helped me to start questioning everything that has everything else that's presented on TV, or as he would say, on the screen. So then this year I started looking into the Mandela effect, and I started experiencing some weird reality glitches myself. And I observed many, many synchronicities and things that, when you think about it, it just doesn't seem like something that would happen if what we've been told really is how the world works. I started to question things on a much larger scale. I started to think that reality itself, or what we understand to be reality, may actually all be an illusion. Then I was watching a video last night by Caroline Myss, and it was called Understanding Your Own Power, Enchantment 2018. I really liked it because she talked about fiction. She encouraged everyone to recognize that all these stories that we tell ourselves and get absorbed in are mostly just fiction. And she used religion as an example, and she explained how religion appeared in the world and how it evolved, and how we've now got to a state where religion is starting to fade away in the world. She said that ultimately organized religion is just fiction. It has been very positive and very negative for humanity in the past, but now that it is fading away, we have to let it go. We either have to have full acceptance of religion, or we cannot have any religion. That was her view, that she said that we can't have it both ways. As I said, she only used religion as an example, but the main message of the video was to think about, where do we dwell? In other words, what fiction are we attached to? Is it negative fiction or positive fiction? Realize that even if it is positive fiction, it is still fiction. It's still just an illusion. If we are attached to a lot of negative fiction or negative illusions, we should really just drop them. Just let them go. We don't need to hold on to those illusions anymore if they're causing us negativity or causing us problems. So doing so will make us feel a lot better. As observers of reality, you and I can see the world in a different way. We don't need to be constrained too tightly by old ideas and old stories. We don't need to be stressed or worried about what we see on TV or on social media. It may all just be an illusion. Let's think critically until we see the illusions for what they are. Once we see the illusions, we don't need to be upset about them. Just realize that they are what they are. And then realize that if we detach ourselves from the emotions and the energy sucking that these illusions take up, then maybe we can find our own happy place. So that's my thoughts for today.